It's a great honor to be here, and I would like to thank the University of Bordeaux, Bordeaux Sciences Agro, CAGE, the INSEC, and of course the AAWE Association, yes, the American Association of Wine Economists, and I'm very sorry because being French, I'll never be a member. So I'm just here because I'm the president of a very peculiar story, which is called the classification, the 1855 classification. This classification has happened, I would say, a bit by accident. It was published for the Paris International Exhibition in 1855. In fact, Napoleon III, who was the French emperor, wanted to give a good answer to UK, to Queen Victoria. In those days, the things were very doing well between the French and the English, so it was no problem. In 1850, it was the London International Exhibition, and the British built what is called the Crystal Palace, which today doesn't exist anymore. It's been pulled down a few decades ago. And so the French decided that they will show all what they had best. And you know, in those days, it was showing their colonies, to show all what they were doing, that is to say, trains and so on, and also their best agricultural products, because agriculture was changing also. So the French decided to show their best wines, and 3 areas were selected to show wines. That was Champagne, Burgundy, and Bordeaux. But you know, Bordeaux has never done things like everybody. And so instead of sending bottles that they would select like that, the idea has been from the Chamber of Commerce to ask the brokers to publish a list and to rank them, to classify the vineyards, and to send the wines with this classification. So it took the brokers a fortnight to write that classification. It was not a draw. I see some of you who are smiling there, but no, it was not a draw. In fact, the classification is based on 100 to 150 years of notes that were done by the brokers on quality of wines and prices that were the wines were exchanged, were sold at. And you know, of course, being economists, you know that much better than me, price usually reflects somehow the quality. So taking this, they published a classification of red and white wines from Médoc and Sauternes. 60 wine estates that for the reds, and I'm always wrong, 28 for the whites, Sauternes. So and the reds were classified from 1st to 5th, and the Sauternes from a special rank to ICAM, and then the others, there were first gross and Grand Cru Classé, and second Grand Cru Classé. So this is what was done, and the Bordeaux people sent their wines to Paris. There is no great memory of the wines going there, but they were sent, and that's all. Of course, the classification, in the 6 months that followed the classification was sued. Because, of course, not everybody was happy. There was a guy who forgot, I don't know what. So he was integrated. But what you must know, and this is very interesting when you read the classification is not done by alphabetical letters, but it is done by ranking, I would say, being better than other ones. So it doesn't start with the letter A, it can finish with the letter A or whatever. And this is quite interesting because then they integrated that estate, which is called Comte Merle. It's a secret for no one. And so this one was the last one. Now, this classification was the first classification done ever on agricultural products and on wines, of course. And this has been envied by the world because it's so peculiar, and it has taken more than 100 years to see new classifications appearing, and they have been appeared in Saint-Emilion in the Graves, and there are some others now in Italy. There is one which has been done, and so I mean this is something new, and it has taken over 100 years to be copied, I would say, or duplicated. This classification is still, I would say, a sort of how could we put it, of a measure of that all people who produce wine everywhere in the world want to measure themselves to these wines which are classified. I would say even in Bordeaux, inside Bordeaux, wines from the right bank, they want to compare themselves to the wines of the left bank and say, because it's important, you know, and they will see where they sit. So this is really a how do you call that, the masterpiece of the measure. What are we doing? I am president since nearly 20 years, good Lord, of this body. And every year, you know, I don't know why, they elect me as president. And time flies. And what are we doing? What is the Conseil doing today? We are not doing promotion. We are only working in areas which are recognition of law, that is to say, recognition of our names, getting our names accepted and recognized, for example, by the EEC, EU. That is to say, for example, the terms of Grand Cru Classé is accepted as a word that belongs to us. We've done the same work with China. We were doing a number of works in that way, and we also we've been also suing a number of people creating classifications which are in fact no classification, and using our name and so on. After that, we do a lot of explanation of wines and of the classification system to a number of partners like the Cornell University, where we take care of hotel management school, where we give some lectures. We do the same with the Lausanne University in Switzerland. We do the same too with the Institute of Master of Wine in London. We do also in Taiwan, also in Paris with Ferrandi. We follow up the best sommeliers of the world. You see, what we are doing, it's mostly schooling and trying to explain our products and help them to understand wine in general, and where exceptional wines have to go, because we believe that we are making special wines. We also, I would say, give a hand to publishers like Flammarion has published a book. We help a number of publishers, you know, like this, and so we push that of understanding our wines. Maybe a word, because you're interested by economy. The wines of Bordeaux and the classified growth in general, with a few exceptions, but in general, are distributed in a very special way, and this is less history, but it is how it goes to today. In fact, you have in Bordeaux, I would say, a three-layer system, but in the United States, you know what is three-layer system. But it's not wholesalers, importer, and retailer. It is producer, broker, and distributor, which are the wine merchants. So the producers, the chateau, the estate, produce wine, and they put on the market every year. We are just finishing the campaign now. The last vintage, it was 2015. They put a price, and they sell to a number of selected wine merchants of Bordeaux a certain amount of their crop. It is between 50 and 80% in general. They fix a price, and the broker presents that to the wine merchant. It works, it doesn't work. You know, it's the market. It's the market that works. And this system of the Bordeaux wine merchants has been very successful, and has helped a lot the chateau owners to get a real world distribution. One of my job is to be a wine grower. My second job is to be the chairman of a group which owns also wine merchants. So it's why I know both sides. And this system is so successful that today a number of estates around the world, and one, for example, is Opus One, is distributed outside the United States by the Bordeaux shippers. Some Italians are coming also to be distributed also by Bordeaux. Almaviva in Chile is also using Bordeaux. So the Bordeaux wine merchants, which is called La Place in French, is a very active center for wine and wine trade and quotations, because every day you get a sort of a stock exchange of the wines and selling of all those wines.